It's a bird. It's a plane. It's wads of fucking money. Man of Steel on this week's Cinefiles.
Goodbye, my son. Our hopes and dreams travel with you.
He'll be an outcast. I'll kill him.
How? He'll be a god to them.
Welcome to this edition of Cinefiles. I'm Todsky.
I'm Tito.
I'm Steve.
I'm Ashcake.
C-Mac.
Special guest C-Mac. Welcome to Diner.
C-Mac! So happy to be here.
We know all your
It's
secrets.
so much weirder. So than many hand jobs actual under the table podcast. earlier.
Yeah.
It's like a welcome back, but also like a welcome to the camera time.
Oh, I'm so happy. I actually sent in a resume to Todsky. Like, I actually wrote it on Facebook one night. I made the joke to Steve.
Oh,
and
I've
I was
seen
like,
this movie,
And
this
every time
movie,
I see
this
a movie
movie.
now, Todsky's like, oh, that's cool. And I was like, can I add that to my resume that I sent you like a month ago?
We'll do topless scenes.
Yeah.
We just had like
get nude.
like
You
want the
2.5 hour like I guess debrief on the Man of Steel,
We
and now
told
we
ourselves we
could
have got a lot.
It's essentially
did.
what it is a fucking debrief because I feel better. I feel different. I feel generally happy with life.
I feel like I might have regular bowel movements now. Yeah. No,
So this one was a long time coming, folks, because there's as some of you may know, we've got like a big bet going on this summer for the top worldwide grossing this time movies of
like
this
that
summer
every time.
and we've basically the whole thing is Iron Man versus Man of Steel are the two big hitters right now. So we did the Iron Man pod. And now we're doing the Man of Steel, which is a
Do you see this?
amazing movie.
I was waiting for so long.
It's, well,
face.
we got so much footage, and it was just getting tiring about how much stuff they're releasing. Like, it was trailers, it was TV spots, it was Nokia versions of fucking trailers.
By the time I saw like Live for Films or like manofsteel.com or whatever on Facebook, their page being like, this is the 9th TV spot, and I'm like, 9?
Well, Steve and I
Really?
discussed time and time again, like, I had no hope for this movie. I felt the whole thing was given away, but how they twisted it together and
But still,
she made the point of using all the trailer right at the start, so it was all fresh material.
Perfect. I think everyone was still captured by that first. Well, they had the first teaser where they had like
The double dose.
the double dose where they had Costner and Crow or Jonathan Kent and Jor-El talking.
They were playing it pretty close to the chest for the longest time, and then Iron Man 3 came out and started like hitting the billion mark, and they're like, shit, we better like
the floodgates open.
yeah, we need to tell people that this movie's coming out and it's going to be
gonna be
awesome.
good. Yeah.
Well, it worked because it's the highest June release in history, right?
Yeah, but unfortunately May is usually the big indicator.
Yeah.
So I think Avengers came out in May.
Yep.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's got
First
a tough
weekend
road.
in May, man. You got all summer.
Unfortunately, Iron Man 3 has the advantage of the fact that nobody wanted to go against it in May, so there was a lot of like open weekends that
Yeah.
like the movies coming out were direct competition to Iron Man 3. Now, but the problem with Man of Steel is every movie coming out now is a summer big
Well, it's like
release
Yeah.
World
and
War
can
Z,
potentially take business
Purge,
for Man
like,
of Steel.
Exciting stuff is happening.
What if a child dreamed of becoming something other than what society had intended? What if a child aspired to something greater?
As you will hear on the Wyman podcast in our Cinefiles, I think just sitting around talking about this movie made it a game changer for me. What I love about the whole Chris Nolan Batman series is the fact that he grounds Batman into reality. And to me, they did that with this character as much as they could from being outer space. Yeah, you got aliens and fucking spaceships, but you just it's those quotes, it's those epic quotes from the trailers and the more that you got to see in there that really draws me in. And to me, this is a must-see movie. Tito said I say that about every one. I want to say it again about this one. You need to see this in the theaters. So definitely go check it out. I give this a solid 5 out of 5 spaceships. No. What did I say before?
Dragons.
Arcs.
I give this a solid 5 out of 5 Krypton dragons out of 5. 5.
My son was in the bus. He saw what Clark did.
You're the answer, son. You're the answer to are we alone in the universe?
Can I just keep pretending I'm your son?
You are my son. And I have to believe that you were sent here for a reason. And even if it takes the rest of your life, you owe it to yourself to find out what that reason is.
The moment that really got to me was at the end when Martha basically says that Jonathan had always seen greatness in Clark, and it shows him as a child playing with the cape, and it's a really beautiful moment because it's funny. Ralph Garman in Hollywood Babylon said that what's his point of reference, and the point is like every child has always like imagined flying and all that, and essentially this movie really delivers in what a lot of the previous Superman movies failed to deliver in. Essentially, instead of the giant rock aspect where people were complaining there's not enough action, this movie gives you that and more to the point where you're just kind of like, this is sensory overload, but that kind of merits a rewatch, and really there's a lot of nuances and a lot there for the fans. So I gotta say it's a solid 5 out of 5 stars for me on this movie.
How do you find someone who has spent a lifetime covering his tracks? For some, he was a guardian angel. For others, a ghost who never quite fit in.
Coming back to those critics that are saying that it's so much different, Lois Lane is such a different character, which I think was awesome that she's such a fully rounded character now. Take a look at Lex Luthor, for instance. If you look back at the comic books, what this is based on mostly is the Byrne revamp of the Man of Steel. He actually had a series back in '86 that came out after the Infinite Earths crisis, where this was the re-envisioning of the Krypton. If you look at the cover of that first Man of Steel series in the short, the first cover of that book in the short series, the ship even that Kal-El comes to Earth on in this movie is really, really resemblant of that. And it's funny, I find that so many people have this idea of, for instance, he's not in this movie, but Lex Luthor is definitely going to be a part. We've seen the LexCorp logos, we've seen like the Bruce Wayne, Wayne Enterprises logos, so there's definitely a lot more coming in the future. But we see as a public, like the collective lexicon, to put a horrible pun into that, that he is this really powerful, smart, intelligent, bald businessman. That's not actually who Lex Luthor was before 1986. It was in this very same Man of Steel reboot story that we learned who Lex Luthor really is as a character that works. So I think for all those people that are too harsh on how many changes have been made, I think you got to really look back at the fact that like this is a new generation, this is a new audience, and I think they really did it well. There's a certain Clark Kent charm I think is missing from this movie for sure. I think that there's an element of that was lost, but then again you get that in droves with RDJ RDJ in Iron Man 3. Robert Downey Jr. oozes charm, and you've got enough of that. You've had Avengers, you've had Iron Man 3 this year. I think Legendary Pictures, I think DC Comics in their cinematic universe, they know that Christopher Nolan hit a chord, struck something that was absolute fucking gold when they grounded him in this super serious, realistic world, and they really did that. Despite having alien dragons and alien cows and this harsh Kryptonian environment and crazy technology and ships everywhere, looked almost like Transformers 3 at one point. Honestly, I think that they really, really captured it for a new audience. I think it was absolutely awesome. So I got to give it because I'm Superman's like my favorite superhero of all time, and I love that whole Clark Kent charm. And even it's missing that kind of love triangle between Lois Lane, Clark Kent, and Superman in a good way. I got to say, I got to give it a 4.5 Kryptonian scout ships out of 5.
You will give the people of Earth an ideal to strive towards. They will race behind you. They will stumble. They will fall. But in time, they will join you in the sun. In time, you will help them accomplish wonders.
What I really found interesting was the Easter eggs, like the drop of like the, obviously, like, spoilers, haha, the Wayne, like, Enterprises logo on the satellite for one, then the scientist whose name I've totally blanked on.
Emil Hamilton.
No.
Oh, the one from Green Lantern?
Yeah, the chick from Green Lantern, yeah. Was it Carrie Ferris? Carol Ferris, yeah, well, but the lieutenant's actual name is Carrie Ferris in this. But I mean, like, it's similar, you know. And then, of course, there's the, like, empty pod, which Tito explained could possibly mean that Supergirl was here originally. And I kind of like the idea that humanity may have come from Supergirl and not from monkeys. That sounds a lot more awesome than like our actual origin story, right? So yeah, like, love the Easter eggs. I laughed, I cried, I literally held my breath at one point, like fist bumped the guy next to me who I don't even know. Like, if you're watching this, probably not, but cheers, that was pretty awesome. Like, it was incredible. Seeing it in IMAX was definitely the way to go. That 8-9 hours worth of driving was totally worth it. Like 110 million %. And I just got to say, 5 out of 5. What did I say? 5 out of 5 codexes out of awesomeness, because that's just amazing. That's it.
You believe your son is safe? I will find him!
My father believed if the world found out who I really was, they'd reject me. He was convinced that the world wasn't ready. What do you think?
So I just have to say, I loved this movie. I had no hopes for this movie whatsoever when the trailers first came out, because they were giving me nothing. Then the floodgates opened, and they released a lot of material, and that's what killed it for me originally. Is I felt like they had given everything away, and then once I saw it, it blew my mind. It had the father-son relationship between Jor-El and Papa Kent. It played at my heartstrings on so many levels. I loved the action; it felt organic. The fight scenes, the sequences were just phenomenal. You didn't have the Avengers hokiness. Like, it was just it. If somebody got their superpowers 3 days ago and had to figure out how to fight somebody, that's what it would be. There was none of the MMA bullshit you see in a lot of movies these days, the transporter style fighting. I'm almost speechless to give you more thoughts on it. I'm just going to give you my rating. It's 4 out of 5 family crest seals out of 5. Awesome movie. Go see it. I can't say enough words about it, or more words about it, rather.
What's the S stand for?
It's not an S. On my world, it means hope.
Well, here it's an S. How about
Excuse me.
Thanks for watching this edition of Cinephiles as we go into the deep mythos of Man of Steel. If you've got any more comments about what you think Superman should have been in this movie, or if you just want to see another giant rock being lifted, leave it in the comments below, and make sure you double tap that like button.
Also, here, the epic 2.5-hour podcast where we dive into all kinds of mythos. Everyone loves sitting around talking about movies, so sit around and listen to us talk about movies. Everything is available at ympodcast.com.
And as always, if you love us or you hate us with the fiery rage of General Zod, then let us know. You can get in touch with us all over the internet, twitter.com/YMMpodcast, facebook.com/YMMpodcast, and get in touch with us directly at show@YMMpodcast.com.
Yay! Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to subscribe to this guy.
Subscribe to the S on the chest.
Because you want to hear more of us. It is.
Hope
it's a symbol
for this
hope.
podcast to keep going.
Yeah, exactly. It's also a piggy
In this
bank.
house, it's a fucking S.
Discover that after the fact. It's a piggy bank.
Yeah,
It
it's
is
a piggy bank.
Give us your money.
Yeah, give us your money.
I just want to use it as a cod piece.
Give us your views.
And just remember that YMM Podcast has a few other projects on the go, such as Cat Thoughts and all that kind of stuff. So check out their website. They got a lot of cool material, and keep coming back.
Yeah, because if you do, we might put C-Mac back in jail for another short. So.
Sweet. Please do. Comment on how much you like me so that I can keep coming back. I seldomly get the invites, so...
All right. We already did it. All right, for this episode of Cinephiles TV, I'm Totsky.
I'm Tito.
I'm Steve.
I'm Ashcake.
C-Mac.
See you next set.